PhDs, the number of computers, or the number of square feet, which is an input. Our work instead is focused on what occurs in the classroom. A measurement of whether student learning occurs, a setting of learning objectives, and a determination whether those learning objectives were achieved. And we think that's what your parents of the students, that's what government will want, and that's what your employers want. They're less concerned about what goes into the process, although that's important, because that's an impact on the outcome. But more concerned about whether student learning does occur and to what extent continuous improvement in that learning is taking place. That's our philosophy since we've been created. We're sensitive to mission-driven. When I say that, if you say that you're a global research institution, business school, then we're going to ask you to justify, we're going to probably hold you to a higher standard with regard to the number of PhDs, the amount of research being done, because those are components of a research school. If you say you're global, we're going to want you to explain to what extent you think you're global in terms of whether the faculty comes from outside of India, whether the students come from outside of India, whether the recruitment is done outside of India. So you have to tell us essentially what is your mission and what are you doing as a business school to achieve that mission. That gives you a wide range of schools that can meet our accreditation process, because it's not focused on just research or just teaching, but rather on a wide opportunity, a wide number of schools. And we just want to know that you're meeting your mission in that regard. Recognized faculty come from the world of work. At that time, and still today, a lot of the accreditation bodies place an emphasis on let's say, on the PhDs and the research, and those are valuable things. I mean, I think those are great, but we also recognize that a lot of individuals enter the classroom not from a career in academia, but after a career in business or law, and they're entering the classroom because they have a passion for teaching, because they want to communicate to the next future business leaders their experiences in business. And frankly, we think that practitioner concept is a good idea. And we think that those individuals who want to enter the classroom to do those kinds of activities should be supported by you to make sure they do become good professionals and good professors in the classroom. And we don't want to discourage them and discourage you from hiring them through our accreditation process. So we like a good balance of academia and practitioners, and our accreditation process focuses on how well you work with the individuals who are entering from the world of work, as well as the individuals with their lifelong career in academia. We offer accreditation to associate degree programs. These are two-year institutions, primarily in the United States, but that was one of our, it really doesn't have an impact on you as much, but it does in terms of enable us to say that if you look at all the business degrees that are offered on a global basis, from two-year programs to doctoral degrees, we're the only accrediting body in the world, as far as I know, that accredits all degree levels for business schools. And be less expensive in terms of the fees and dues. If you were to look at any of the other accrediting bodies, because they place a high value in research and because they feel like they have an opportunity to work with resource-rich schools, they make a high demand on resources from schools to go through their accreditation process. We don't have that philosophy. We think that we should be as inexpensive as we can for you, because you have a better way that you can use your resources. And that is facilities for the classrooms, teachers' salaries, support for professional development for your teachers. We think those are the real needs for your resources. And while we do require some payment for accreditation, you'll find it's often less expensive than other accrediting bodies would ask of you. Some of the major milestones in our activity: after being created in 1988, we were recognized by the U.S. Department of Education as a specialized accreditation for business schools. That's a recognition by the U.S. government with regard to our good work. Then they got out of that business around the year 2000 and said, we're no longer going to do that. Instead, we are going to, and Congress said this, the U.S. Congress created CHIA, the Council on Higher Education Accreditation.